record now. All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning. I know we still are kind of at the end of summer. As far as I'm concerned, it's not over until the end of September. So I know some people are still celebrating the end of summer and aren't able to join us today, but thank you to those who did. Um, I've got a couple people in transit today, so a few people are driving that would normally be joining us or doing things. I know Josh is actually on his way here because he couldn't come here yesterday, and so he's coming today to help me with a couple things. Sean just texted me and let me know that she's in the middle of trying to service somebody's loan, and so she's going to jump on in just a little bit. But we do have Catherine here with us. So Catherine from First American Title, is there anything you want to share with us, or anything that you want that anything you're hearing out there in the real estate world that you want to pass along?
No, I mean, I would say the only thing and stuff, actually, this is something you and I just discussed this week, and I think it's kind of imperative that it does get passed along. But I did hear that and forgive me because it's the Department of Insurance for me, but whomever manages y'all's, um, you know, uh, compliance,
Real
Stephanie would,
estate commissioner?
I would imagine it's the real estate
Okay.
commissioner. Understanding is the real estate commissioner is really, really, really putting out a mission to check everyone's social media accounts and
Oh,
marketing medias. And it's imperative that your DRE information is listed on everything. Actually, your company is listed on everything. Your company's DRE is listed on everything. So I would defer to Stephanie on what that is supposed to look like. But I have heard that they are not wasting any time and instantly fining agents.
sure.
And in some cases, more recently, I've heard of agents losing their license. So
Yeah,
it's
it is a big deal. And when we talk to you guys, I'm actually going to defer to Josh. He's on his way here, so when he gets here, we'll have a conversation with him about it. But there's a reason that we ask you guys to run all of your marketing through us. It's because Josh runs it through compliance just to make sure that there's nothing outside of standards. There's not, it's one thing if we put the marketing together for you and there's a problem, that is our responsibility, and obviously we will always take responsibility for that. But if you are putting together any of your own stuff, if you put together your own social media, we have Moxie, we have Josh, we have all those options, but I know some people still tend to still do some of their own stuff. Please make sure that you run it through Josh. And it's not just a please, it's not a request, it's a requirement. We as the brokerage require you to put your stuff through us, just to make sure that all the branding is correct and that there's nothing outside of the standards, so you're not going to get in trouble, because you can not only be fined, but yes, you can lose your real estate license. And the last thing that any of us want is for you not to be able to feed your families anymore. So please run that stuff through us. If you have any questions, we're always happy to look at it. And if you are ever question, just send it to us. We're never a time where we're going to say, yeah, you don't need to send that to us. We always want to see anything that you're pulling together. So definitely make sure. That's right, Catherine. We did talk about that earlier this week. So thank you very much for sharing that. Um, yeah, and I also have Jeff is in transit today, and so I know he couldn't be here with us. But I know he's setting a lot of appointments with you guys for Moxie. One thing I mentioned a little while ago is that I was getting lots of requests for listing appointments. And one thing I want to remind you is that when you have a specific listing, definitely get together with Jeff as well. He can help you pull some of the Moxie present pieces for those listing presentations that can be a really great piece to your standard listing presentation that you can take along with you to those appointments. Anything we can do to help you bolster that listing presentation, so that when you're there, you have all the pieces you need to get the listing at the time of the appointment. And this really is the time, guys. I'm going to start driving this stuff home with you, but this is the time to really make sure that you're not being aggressive, but just make sure that you're really going all the entire length with these appointments, and that if you can get the listing at the time of the appointment, get it. Don't give them anything to think about. If there's stuff to think about, we're not done with our job. Catherine, go ahead and share whatever you wanted to share.
And if I can just add to what you're saying, Steph, in that preparation part, tap us on the shoulder and make sure that you're getting a property profile. Make sure you're getting the VESTA document so you're in front of the right people.
Yes.
Um, in preparation, you may want to personalize your presentation. Have us pull the last VESTA document so you know that Nancy and John should be sitting in front of you and that you're not actually in front of the wrong person, and or correct people in general. But
Right.
also, to that point, and forgive me, giving it all, I think that was it. I had something else I wanted to tag, but I
That's okay.
apologize.
No. You come back in when you remember what it was,
Okay,
because
thank you.
I think everything you're saying is very important. We really want to make sure that we're helping you guys be armed with everything that you need going into these appointments to be able to get the listings and to be able to have this information. I had an agent yesterday who was in here with me learning how to use SkySlope. And she's the third person I've taught it to. I'm actually teaching some of it to Paul later today. And everybody that I've taught it to has said, oh my gosh, this is so easy. I don't want to do it. I want my TC doing it. But man, if I need to upload a VP or something to get paid, this is so simple and I could totally do this. One of the questions she asked me is, why does it ask for the property profile? Like, why is that required in our SkySlope checklist at the time of listing? And I'll tell you, if there's ever a document in SkySlope that you feel like you shouldn't have to have, call me. I want to hear about it because I don't want unnecessary documents in SkySlope. However, I will probably have a reason that we want to have it. And with the property profile, it's exactly that we want to make sure we have that information so that we know it's our proof that we've looked to see who the actual owner of the property is, right? It's our proof that we've looked to see, any of the information that comes up in that property profile that you need to pass along. Having that at time of list and showing that it's in our listing document requirements before you can turn it over to be a sale file just shows that we did some more due diligence, and it's really all there just to protect you. And I think that piece of it, you guys got to remember, anytime you see those things in the checklist and you're like, oh, why do I have to do this in advance? I promise you, I think the same thing sometimes, but I always know that there's a reason for it, right? Like sometimes it's like, do I really have to have that now? Yeah, you actually do. You really, every time you don't want to get sued, yes, you need to have that in the file. So Catherine, I think you remembered what you're going to say. Go ahead, chime in.
Thank you. I did actually. The other thing is for sellers and buyers, as a reminder, we have a plethora of documentation to support your presentation as well, especially after you secure. So please don't hesitate to ask us for that stuff. We print it, we have it digitally, and it is another great piece to come to your presentations with, because it answers all of the processes that maybe takes the onus off of you, the agent, to have to do and to leave behind. So it's certainly something that you can leave behind to your sellers, so that it kind of walks them through what to expect, verbiage, parties that play into the selling process, closing processes to manage their expectations. So again, we have it digitally, we have it in physical collateral. So it's another added value that you can have be brought to the table, and we can leave a stack at your office so you can grab them. Unfortunately, they are not. It's not a co-branded piece that we can do with you because of compliance reasons. But feel free to just staple your business card right on top of our faces if necessary. So that is it.
Thank you. I'm just texting Deborah Comer because she just let me know she was having a hard time getting in the meeting. So I just resent her the link. Hopefully she can get in now. Thank you for that, Catherine. I do appreciate it. But yeah, again, just understand that every time we have one of those things in a list, there's generally a reason for it. But again, if you ever find something, the other day, an agent came to me and brought something to my attention, and I was like, you know what? You're right. Absolutely. We don't need that piece of it, or this isn't necessary, or something that we thought was. And so we were actually going to require a document. I had an agent call me the other day and she's like, okay, look, I don't think we need this. You guys say we do. I'm going to make my client sign it. And I was like, whoa, hold on. Before you do that, before you just make your client sign something random you don't think they need, like, tell me what's going on. And she was right. We didn't actually need the document. So we removed it from a requirement. And it's just as simple as you calling me. I go into SkySlope and I can make it unrequired if in that particular instance. So don't ever feel like you have to do something. Call me and talk to me about it, because I certainly don't want your client signing documents that aren't necessary. That just opens us for even more unnecessary exposure. So when you have situations like that, definitely reach out. But chances are I'm going to tell you there's a really good reason why we need it. And one of the documents in particular that I've been talking a lot about lately is the SBSA, the Statewide Buyer and Seller Advisory. We're going to get into that just a little bit today, but I'm gonna do a whole class dedicated to that and the RPA coming up. Some of the challenges that you guys are coming to me with as the office manager, and even that are coming as the broker, are reminding me that we really need to go back and review the contract, and that we all need to be practitioners of the RPA, right? The only job we have as real estate agents, and this is a little bit of me just getting on a soapbox because it's my feeling about this, but the only job we have as real estate agents is securing our clients' rights through the contract. It's the only job we have. It's the only thing we can do. It's the only leverage we have. And writing good contracts and following contracts and knowing how to follow the contract is the only leverage you have in the transaction. And so with the challenges that I've been seeing coming my way and the amount of contracts I've seen coming without the SBSA checked or without it countered in when you're countering other things, I really want to sit down and talk to everybody about that. So we're going to do a class on that. I'm going to do it live, and I'm also going to do it via Zoom, so that we can record it and share it with other people later. But I would like to hear a little bit about if you guys are having any challenges out there, like what are the challenges you're having? And I know we've got Daniel, I've got Carl, and I've got Paul on the call today with us. So if you guys could just share with me, either by unmuting yourself and coming on and talking, or just in the chat, share with me, what are the challenges you're having right now? Is it challenges with getting appointments? Challenges getting in front of people, getting the listing appointment or the appointment with the buyer? Or is it finding the properties? Is it closing the listing? Is it getting the listing contract signed? Where is the challenge in getting new business right now? If you guys could give me any insight or input on that, where are you getting the challenges? I'll call on you.
I know you will. Probably getting leads.
Okay. So who do I call, right? Is that that's the question? Who do I reach out to? Okay. Okay. So when we talk about that, I think that's actually one of the things that we're going to talk about in our business planning clinic that's coming up. And we touched on it last week, but let's touch on it some more. I think with the market slowing the way it has, I want all of you to look at your farms, and I want you, this is Catherine and I were having this conversation, that this is the time, especially if you've just done a business plan with me, or if you're about to do a business plan with me for 2023, then this is the time. And actually all three of you on this call, this is perfect for, because Daniel, we did yours just the other day. Carl, we just talked about yours, and Paul, yours is still pretty new with us. But you know, when we talk about getting into that, what I want you all to look at is your farm big enough? Do you need to expand it out? Did you meet your goals last year based on the farm that you were working, and did you work it? You know, what are you doing? And is the farm your sphere? Is it just the geographic? Is it a couple different things? Like, we need to look at your entire database in whole and ask, how did you communicate with that database consistently last year? What did you do? Right? And then what are you going to do differently this year in order to strengthen those relationships and deepen them? Because your only job is just to get to know those people well enough that when it comes time for them to have a real estate need, they think of you. And so I know for myself, I just had an agent the other day ask me to help him when I covered with him at something. And he's like, if you want to pass out your card, you're more than welcome. And I was like, oh my goodness, what makes you think that I could take on a piece of real estate business right now? I would have to refer it back to you because I can't do that. So I want you guys to really think about that though. Like, how are you spreading yourselves out amongst your database? How are you reaching out to them? And then really, you want to identify those core advocates, the people that are sending you 3 to 5 pieces of business every year. If you've got people sending you 3 to 5 pieces of business every year, I suggest you treat them differently. You know, I suggest that those are the people that you deliver pies to at Thanksgiving. Remember, I tell you, I don't give pies to everybody at Thanksgiving, but the people that have sent me business throughout the year, every single one of them gets a thank you from me, right? Whatever that may be. And so really think about how you're treating those people. And we're coming up on the fun time of year. We're coming up on Thanksgiving. We're coming up on the holidays. We're coming up on the time where we gift back to our clients. And this is an easy way to get in front of your clients. This is the time where you're making the deposits. We're coming up on that part where you're not necessarily asking for the business. However, I'm going to ask you to ask for it anyway, because I know you all need it. But this is the part where we're making some deposits so that come January, February, March, April, when we're calling on them, asking if there's anything they need, we're in deep enough relationship. I'm sorry, I'm just getting a couple texts from a few people that say they can't get into the meeting for some reason, and I don't know why. Let me resend her the information as well. So I want you guys to think about it as
it requires you to sign in for the meeting, like on Zoom.
It
You have
might.
to have a Zoom account because for me to get in, that's why I was late because
Okay.
I didn't have a Zoom account. I had to set one up real quick.
Okay, maybe it's requiring authenticated users. I didn't think it did, but it has. That's right, because I didn't set a password for it. So let me just send her this one real quick and just see if this works. Okay, sorry, we were moving along really nicely there. All right.
Daniel,
So,
it's
Stephanie,
me. You're saying you've been talking to Dawn.
Go ahead.
What's that?
I said it's nice to meet you. I think you've been speaking with Dawn.
Oh yeah, yeah. She just actually set up my farming appointment for Tuesday at 11 o'clock, the 4th of October.
Well, we can't wait to meet you.
Absolutely.
Stephanie,
Yes.
I think that the magazine is really a good deal. I've started sending those out, but I just think one thing about it is they get that magazine every month, and so they see your face every month. It's got to help as far as a reminder.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you that has been one part that I told Josh I want him to reach out to every single one of you. So as we get closer to the end of the year, he's going to be setting appointments with each of you. We now have the option, as a matter of fact, I'm going to see if I can pull it up and I'll show you the screenshot of it. We now have the option to upload our own artwork. So we're in order to get the custom label that's like this, you used to have to buy 20 issues. We found out the other day because Carl ordered them without doing this and he just ordered them individually. Even if you don't buy the 20 issues and you don't get the label where like your little arms are crossed in front, it will still have it still has a picture of your face and it still has the office address and all this stuff. It's not necessarily as designery looking, but Josh was able to create one, and I'm going to share my screen now so I can show it to you. He was able to create one for Philip, who also wanted to, he does estate sales. So he also wanted to include this little logo for his estate sale business, and the little tagline, "I run to get it done." But that's the label that we will have, and we'll be able to put your photo into it, so that you're able to, and without buying the 20, you can do that. If you're interested in that, see Josh. But the best part about this is, again, and I've said this before, and I almost sound like a broken record, but for less than $15, I'm able to get in front of my client every single month. And so for it's $13.25 for the year. And so to be able to do that, and it's not just Better Homes and Gardens, there's several other magazine labels that you're able to do. If you're trying to figure out what you're going to do for the holidays, start now and order a bunch of these for your past clients. Anybody who closed an escrow for this year, order one, have it sent, and it takes 6 to 8 weeks for the first one to come. So I don't know what the deadline is or what the cutoff is right now. I could go and look it up, and it's because it's right on their website. But if you order them now, they're going to get the holiday ones. If you'd like to order a box of them so that you have them to be able to hand out as you go door knock your neighborhood or go give your Thanksgiving treats or Christmas treats or whatever that is, if you want a box of them, order them now, because if you need to order them now so that you will get the Christmas one, so you'll get the December issue or the Thanksgiving issue. You want to make sure that you order them in advance. So that's just something you want to work with Josh on. If you're interested in that, call Josh or call me or email both of us, and we will make sure that you get that taken care of. It's an amazing way to be able to do it. We were also just talking again about the product placement that we have in Walmart, that if you have a client that needs anything, those little gifts that are branded to yourself. I just picked up little wallflowers for the office, the little air freshener things that are branded to Better Homes and Gardens. And you could drop off, the little refills for them every now and again. Just little things like that go a long way. Start thinking about how you're going to connect with your sphere and your database. Because you got to make deposits before you can make withdrawals, right? And so that's the point, is you just want to keep reaching out to them. And if anybody you haven't reached out to in the last 30 days, pick up the phone, reach out to them and just say, hey, I'm sorry, I haven't talked to you in 30. It's been over a month since we've talked. I apologize it's taken me so long. I was just thinking about you. How are you? And just start having conversations with people. Get yourself into the mode of that. I've shared with a few of there's a couple things. There's a Ford technique, and then there's a qualifying technique. It's just a series of questions to ask. I think I shared out those scripts a couple weeks ago after the meeting. I emailed all those scripts out. Go back and review those again, and look at those ways to take the personal conversation and turn it to business when it's appropriate. Who do you know that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Is there anybody that you know of that I can help? And that's not how you start the conversation. That's maybe the last sentence that you're going to say, right? Like, you're just calling to have a conversation, checking in. How are you? It's been a long time since we talked. Great. I'm glad to hear you're good. Hey, by the way, if you know of anybody that's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the Coachella Valley, I'm your girl. I'm here to help. Right. We even sometimes remind them that we're available to help with referrals to agents outside. I've got a great network of agents. If there's ever anybody that, that you need, ever a transaction that you need help with outside of the area, please let me know. And I'm happy to help not only connect you with an agent who can help you, but I'll help manage the transaction so I can still be your point person. Right. I don't practice real estate in South Carolina, but I closed a referral for one of my very dearest friends in high school that just purchased a home there. And he ended up communicating with me throughout most of the transaction. And so there's ways that we can do that, little techniques that we can help teaching you. If you guys need help with referrals, man, I got to tell you, I had one frustrating year where I sent out 18 referrals and one closed. One paid me. And the reason was I just wasn't following up with them properly, and I wasn't running it. And the thing I kept hearing over and over again, well, they're not you. And instead of trying to find me in another state, I just gave them me. Wherever they needed to be, I was still the person who would help manage the transaction with the agent. So I was having the conversation with their agent on the other side of the deal. So just those kind of things, whatever you guys need help strategizing on. I do want to tell you, we are going to have a couple things coming up. I have a few save the dates for you. So you're going to want to put these on your calendar. You will get emails from me later, but next Thursday, October 6th, from 11 to 1, I am going to we're going to do a class in the office. I've been telling you guys I was going to do this for a while now, but this is the how to navigate escrow successfully. And so what we're really going to teach you is how to successfully navigate the RPA and the SBSA. Like how to use those documents to guide you from opening escrow to closing the transaction. There's some little tricks and tips in those documents and I'm also going to show you how to put them together packaged very beautifully so that you have something wonderful to give your client, whether it's a buyer or a seller. So once you open escrow, you're going to have a folder to give them that's going to have the purchase agreement, the SBSA, and a beautiful calendar in it that's going to show them the flow of the transaction. And so we'll go over all of those things. I'm going to do that one live with you guys in the office, and anybody who can't make it, I am going to do another session recorded so that I have it for future reference. I don't know when I'm going to do that one yet. I may do it before just so that I have it ready and I've done a little practice, or I may do it after, just depending on how it goes. But if you can't make the one next Thursday, then let me know and we'll make sure we get you in on the recorded version, or I'll do it on Zoom so people can be there live with me, but it'll be on Zoom. The next one you're going to want to write down is 2 Thursdays from that will be Thursday, October 20th, from 10 to 1. We will be doing a business planning clinic live in the El Paseo office. I'm only going to open this up to El Paseo office agents, and just because we have 25 now and I want to make sure I keep the space available in here. However, I will be doing that recorded on Zoom as well. So anybody who can't make that one live, there will be a Zoom version, and then we'll record it so that you'll be able to watch that later. So those will be coming up. I think for the live class I'm going to do next week, every one of you, when you leave, will receive a packet that you can take with you that will be a sample purchase agreement, a sample packet that you can give to a buyer so you have it as your template when you open your next escrow. And this works whether you're repping the buyer or the seller. Doesn't matter. Either way, it will work. And it's not for you to, this thing is, it also includes a little note, like it's not for you to give them so that they have to read the whole thing. It's there as a reference so that when there's a challenge in the transaction, they have the documentation in front of them and you both can go through it and reference it together. It just makes them feel like a part of the process. So I think both of those will be really beneficial for you. I was hoping I was going to have the Muros on here today with us, but I'm going to chat with them a little later because there's a part of that purchase agreement that is very important that they have a piece in, which is the financing part of it. And so I'm going to try to have them at least there for part of it to be able to discuss that financing piece of it with you. Because if we have a loan on the property and we're filling out a purchase agreement without a conversation with the lender, we have a problem, right? So there's certain things that you can't answer without that conversation with the lender. And too many times I'm hearing that our agents are filling this out without having that conversation. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I think that'll get us all ready for all the other stuff will get us ready for that business planning clinic coming up. For those of you who have a 2022 business plan, if we created one for you last year or anytime in the last 12 months, you're going to want to bring that with you and bring all your numbers, bring your production, and we'll give you a list of everything that you're going to want to bring with. I am going to do my best to get lunch provided at both of those since I'm doing them, between 11 and they end in the afternoon. We'll try to get some lunch rounded up and provided for those. So yeah, I think if you have any other questions about them, definitely reach out. Let me know. If you can't make the classes, let me know and we'll get you into the makeup sessions. I still have to pull together the second round of people that wanted to get into the call system, wanted to get into OpCity. So I have the second group of people. I'm going to run through that this week where I'll reach out to each of you and have the conversations we need to have in order to get you started. And then we have a new system that we just became a part of, which is Cole. Cole is it's almost like a phone number lookup system. And so it's very interesting. I haven't used it in a long time, but I have used it before. My understanding is that some of the features are much more robust than they used to be. So I'm going to dig into it a little bit, but I know Jeff has been working on it feverishly and he's really impressed with it. So this was one of the like 7 or 8 systems that I employed when I was on a team and when I had my own team. It was one of them. I never only used one system for pulling phone numbers and looking for information, and I know the First American is able to help us with some of that, but every time that you're able to cross-reference it anywhere so that you can just see if there's additional phone numbers you can pick up, that's what you're looking for. I think I've shared with you guys all before that there was a team I worked on where they had a marketing person, and he would come in every morning and pull all the expireds, every single expired, and we would walk in and there would sometimes be 12 numbers for each one, just depending on which systems he looked them up in and where he was able to find the best information. And I'll share with you one thing I learned from him is that the best system changed weekly. It didn't matter how many we had, the one that worked the best was different every week, right? And I know, Daniel, you're shaking your head because I know you do a lot of that yourself. And so any of these that we have, anytime you want to use them, we'll get you guys they're very simple to use. So you can go in and maybe check your database just to make sure that your farm it doesn't have extra information. But we're looking at more of these systems again with that. When we talk about, Paul, like finding the places to call and finding the people and getting good information, make sure you're checking in with me on your database so that we can make sure you're able to access some of these systems. I know you were one of the people that wanted to sign up for the round 2 of OpCity, so you'll be one of my calls that will get you up and going on it. And I know that several of those agents that have been using those systems, they're working. But really the most important thing is getting on the phone and just reaching out to people. It's just checking in and then looking for the real estate need when it's there. It's not always going to be there. So not every call needs to be about real estate. As a matter of fact, it shouldn't be. It really, if every time you call, it's only about real estate, you're going to get boring real fast. So just be interested more than you're concerned about being interesting. And where you're just checking in on people and just show that you care. I think that's probably the best thing we can do for our clients right now because everybody's a little nervous with what's going on. And we're going to have to massage. We're already seeing it. We're having to massage these deals more and more to get them to go through and to help get buyers and sellers off of the fence. But again, this is where you guys shine. This is where the pros come in. We're seeing applications for new agents dropping off dramatically. And so you're going to start as the recession, which will probably come, may not, but it very, very likely will come. As that comes, you're going to see agents drop off. Those who get in good relationship with their clients and continue to maintain those relationships will grow their market share. There is a huge opportunity coming up. And I am not going to tell you it's going to be easy. It won't. It will not. You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to make lots of calls, and you're going to have to strategize. You're going to have to get better at your scripts, better at conversations and dialogues, and being able to help move people along. But the better you can be at that, the stronger you will grow your market share during this shift. So I know it's a little bit of a scary time out there. So if any of you are nervous about it, are worried about what your farm looks like, if you're just not getting the success that you feel like you should be, please call me and set an appointment. Over the summer, some of your recurring appointments fell off. Like if you didn't meet with me 2 or 3 times in a row, I dropped the appointment, but I'm going to get you all back on my schedule, or as many of you as I can back on my schedule for weekly check-in appointments, even if it's just 15 minutes. We'll get you guys back on my calendar just so we can be checking in and make sure that the accountability is there for the goals you guys want to achieve. So if you have, I think that's all I have for today. I know we don't have a huge group today, so I'm going to let you guys have a half hour of your life back today. I'm going to do one vote, and I'm going to put it out, but I'm really heavily considering rolling these meetings back to once a month. I want to ask you guys who are here today, would that be devastatingly disappointing to you if we did it once a month, or do you feel like you still like the twice a month situation and having them recorded where you can watch them later?
I'd be okay with once a month if it went like, after the housing report, so we could discuss that. So then that information's fresh. Then I'm like, I would be okay with once a month after that is released.
Okay. I like that input. Any other feedback or input from you guys, Carl or Daniel?
Oh, I'm okay with that because I can always come right straight across the street and see you.
I know. Well, and
I'm
actually,
okay with that.
that's the reason that I'm thinking I want to do it, because I actually would like to do more one-on-one stuff. I feel like in the beginning we did these meetings weekly because there was such a small group of us that, when we started them, there was 6 of us and all 6 of us were on every call because we just needed a place to check in every week. And I don't feel like we're getting the regular participation. Sometimes we have a lot of people on, but I feel like I would like for these meetings to be a little more information packed. And like you said, if we're going over I agree with you. I'm trying to figure out which Friday of the month it will be. I'm nervous about the first or second Friday because that could make it line up with the all office meeting. And so I'm trying to make sure that doesn't happen, but I also don't want to make it the last Friday of the month because that's miserable and everybody's trying to get things closed. So I'm thinking the third Friday of the month may be safe, but I'm gonna just check that out a little bit. I haven't quite made the decision. I almost had decided. I kind of wanted to see how today's meeting went, but I also don't want to roll it back too much. But I would like to do more one-on-one individual stuff with you guys. And I think in order to do that, once Rose is here, we do have help starting on the 10th. And so Rose will be here to help me. And once I have her, I think we'll be able to make some more decisions like that. And it'll also allow me to just be able to put on more education in the office too, where you guys can come in and we can do stuff together. So, all right. Well, I think any other feedback on that meeting idea? I think I'm good. All right, awesome. Okay, well, I do appreciate you guys being here. I know that things are still a little bit, I'm hearing that things are still stalled for some. The one thing I can tell you is that you probably need to double or quadruple your calls. So if you're realistic with yourself and you're making 10 calls a day, it probably needs to be 20 or 40. If you're only doing 2 or 4, you probably need to up that. And just be honest with yourself, get realistic about what it looks like. And if you're not making any because you just have a reason and something's just holding you back, make a call today. If you don't know who to call and don't know how to make that call, please call me. You can do a practice call on me and then I will work with you on who you should be reaching out to. I will help you with your database if you need it, but you need to be making phone calls. If you're not making phone calls, I can promise you one thing, you will not have a paycheck in 30 to 45 days, right? So I don't mean to be scary, but it's true. If you're not making phone calls, you're not going to have a paycheck in 30 to 45 days. So every day we need to be out there looking for who is looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate that I can help. And if you don't have anybody to help, call me and I'll find someone for you. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Wait, there's something in the chat. Let me just read that real quick. It's probably old, but oh, Catherine just said thank you. Okay. All right. Well, you guys have a great weekend. If there's anything, Josh is here with me today. So if there's anything we can do to help you guys prep for the weekend, just please reach out, let me know. And as always, we're here to help and we're around. All right.
Okay.
Talk to you guys later. Have a great week.
You too.